Hello everyone, my name is mandilynn. I am the author of the young adult novel Essence, and today we are going to do a little book discussion and book review on the book Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. The genre of this book is a psychological thriller, and oh my god, it is exactly that. I have only read a few other books in that genre, and every time I do read a book in that genre, my mind is like blown. So I haven't seen the movie for this yet because I didn't want to see the movie until I read the book, and now we read the book and I just have to get my hands on the movie, so I can't really compare it to that. But the first half of this book review is gonna be, a overview for people who haven't read it yet, and then the second half, in which you guys have to go away, is gonna be for the people who have read it, because it needs to be discussed. For the most part of this book, it's told between two different sort of point of views. So we have the husband, Nick, and then the wife, Amy. It starts off with Nick telling the story where it's him and his wife's anniversary, and oh my god, she's missing. Nobody knows where she is and stuff like that. And honestly, the entire time you're kind of just like, okay, I'm pretty sure it was Nick who took her. Why are we even bothering? And then, alternating chapters, we have this diary of Amy's that we're being led to. And it's saying oh, I love my husband, I love my husband. And then it starts to get creepy. I love my husband, but he scares me. I love my husband, but I bought a gun because I don't want to be alone. And stuff like that. And it's maybe he is the killer. And it's from Nick's point of view as he's telling the story. And he's like, oh my god, I didn't kidnap her, I didn't kill her, why are the police accusing me? But it's like, dude, you're acting really sketchy, of course. He's not being like, oh my god, where's my wife, help me find my wife, and stuff like that. He's more just like, oh, our anniversary, I didn't want to open her gifts and stuff like that. And every year for their anniversary, I believe it's their 5th anniversary in the book, she sets up a little scavenger hunt. So he has to go around to find all these things. But to find the next point in the scavenger hunt, it's usually a memory of the two of them from the past year. So him being the bad husband, he never remembers. I was sick when I read this story, I'm sick right now when I give the review because my nose is still stuffy. But I flew through this book. I adored it. I wanted to know exactly what happened every time I put it down to stop to eat or go to the bathroom, because that's all I did when I was sick. I basically was wondering, oh my god, I wonder what's going to happen next. And it's been such a long time since I've had that experience with a book. The best part is that the characters have attitudes. Now, I'm not really sure if I'm talking about Nick with his stupid laid back attitude, or Amy with her other attitude that I'll talk more about in the discussion part of the video. But yeah, it was just so nice to see such vibrant characters, I guess you could say, because their attitudes and personalities were so strong in this book. Every time I thought I was guessing what actually happened, because it's a murder mystery almost. You think Amy's dead, you want to know who the killer is, you're like, is it Nick, the husband, or is it someone else? And I'd be like, oh, maybe it's this person, maybe it blah blah blah. Every time I thought I guessed right, no, I'm wrong. And even in the second half of the book, because I can't discuss the second half of the book with you guys who haven't read it yet, because that would be giving stuff away. But the second half of the book, you're even still left guessing, and I was still wrong every single time. And I hated it, but that's why it's a good book. I think one of the best parts of this book is the fact that it's told directly through the character's perspective. So you would think you would know what's going on, but the entire time you're like, are they lying? Are they still lying? Because it's so sketchy, the entire book. And if you've read it, you know exactly what I mean. Because everything about this, you're like, what a load of crap. How is that happening? You can absolutely feel utter anger and such strong emotions in this book. It's so amazing. The book blows my mind. And every single motive a character has is backed up. You're wondering, why the heck would they do that? You are actually given story and background, and you're like, oh, well, yeah, of course they would do that. And most of all, the last thing I'm going to say before I move on to the second part of this review is that when you finish reading this, you're just like, oh my god, what the heck did I just read? Like, it's one of those books where even after it's done, you're left thinking about it, and that is an amazing book right there. So I completely recommend this book. I cannot believe I haven't read it sooner, and I absolutely give it 5 out of 5 stars. So this is going to be my favorite part. We're going to move to the second part of the review where I get to talk about all the spoilers in this book, and oh my god. So if you haven't read this book yet, leave. Okay, so my first thing we're gonna talk about is the diary, Amy's diary. It was fake, like completely fake. Now that blew my mind. I thought Amy is such a character where I have never wanted to kill someone so bad. Like if I was Nick and I was in his position, I would not be the forgiving person he had to end up being at the end of the story, where he actually ends up living with her. But at the same time, you're like, wow, he is screwed. Like, there was no happy ending for this man. I mean, Amy's diary's fake. She completely has him wrapped around her finger, like, from point A to point B. Like, her plan may have failed. She may have had her money stolen. She may have even moved in with her ex-stalker and then killed him and still gotten away with it. And then she comes home back to him and says, Nick, I'm returning. And you think, oh, she is so screwed. She is finally gonna go to jail. Somehow prove that she was behind her own disappearance and murder, and maybe she'll finally get what she deserves. But no! This woman has her stupid diary that says he abused her, and the police haven't even found it yet. It's just, he is so screwed over. Even at the end, he's like, screw you, and she's like, oh, Nick, I'm pregnant. And he's like, what are you talking about? I have not slept with you since you've returned. There's no way that is my child. And she's like, oh, honey, don't you remember we did those fertilization treatments? Like, literally months ago. Months. This man had to put his sperm in a jar, and she kept it. She kept his sperm months later, and then she impregnated herself. Just so he was stuck. Like, that man has no choice but to stay married to this awful woman. I mean, Nick isn't a perfect guy. He had the affair with one of his students at the college and crap like that. And he even continued to have the affair after Amy went missing, which, oh my god, if the news found out about that, he would have been so screwed. And he hid it from everyone, even his sister, who was like really pissed off when she found out. But it's like, oh, I feel so bad for Nick. But at the same time, you're like, you almost deserve this because you were cheating on your wife, but it's not your fault. Your wife is a psychopath, and she like plans her own death and murder and disappearance and stuff like that, and you just happen to be the unlucky person to be married to her. Yeah. This was a really good book, and it's been a while since I've read this. I read it about a month ago, and obviously, like, that's how much this story stuck with me. Like, normally, as soon as I finish reading a story, it's gone out of my head, and I move on to the next one. But this one, it was like, oh my god. And I'm so mad I haven't seen the movie yet. I need to, but I'm poor, and it's out of theaters, so I would have to buy it on DVD. But I do intend to watch it eventually. But anyways, if you've read this book, please let me know your thoughts down below, because this absolutely blew my mind. And I apologize for this review, because my voice feels weird, and I'm done babbling about this book. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.